What is up, Aries? How are you guys doing? It is time for your weekly check-in. We're going to see what's going on with you guys in the second week of November. November, week 2. So you know what to do if you need a personal reading. You could just go straight to my website if you want, tarotwithrich.com. But I do have a link for that right down here in the description. We are running the Black Friday sale all month long. Zoom calls, general personal readings, full pre-recorded personal readings. We got sales on everything. So you can read up more about the sales we're running on my website. Link is in the description. All right, let's see how the energy's looking. I can't decide what deck I want to start with. How's the energy looking between Aries and the person you're dealing with? Situation you're dealing with. Yeah. That one doesn't want to behave. How about this one? It's better. How about this one? There we go. Okay. All right. Let's see. How's the energy looking? Ooh, 5 of Wands reversed. Hang on a second. That could be a good thing. Maybe. Eight of Wands reversed, though. Okay. Ooh, man, we got that Knight of Swords, but the Knight of Wands is reversed. So that kind of indicates to me that I'm thinking that somebody wants to clear the air with you and work things out. But they're not, for some reason. They're not. They're keeping this to themselves and letting it weigh on them very, very heavily. You know, and they're just for not telling me why. The only thing that I could imagine, you know, I mean, if you want to clear the air with somebody and you're too afraid to, the only thing that I could imagine would be that you're afraid it's just going to turn into a fight again. You know, it's not really telling me here, though. Usually, I mean, that's not an uncommon message to come through, but usually when it does come through, it'll, something along the lines of that follows it. You know, like 7 of Wands or 9 of Wands. It's not even telling me. I can only speculate that maybe they're just afraid that if they tried to clear the air with you, that it would just turn into a fight all over again for some reason. I don't know. All right. Some of you are dealing with a Pisces. I also have Virgo. Anything else? No. You know, it could be anybody. Those are just energies. All right. Let's look at the good shit, man. Let's see how they feel about you at the deepest level. Ah, man. This came out in the last spread. I wasn't going to mention it. But yeah, they definitely still have that victim mentality when it comes to this whole situation, you know? And no matter what side of the coin they're on, doesn't matter. This energy is not going to do you any good. Even if you are the victim. Even if you are. Holding onto that energy is not going to do you any good. It's not. You're going to have to let go of that, you know? So, hang on. Some of y'all dealing with an earth sign, possibly. I think they were waiting to hear from you. Yeah, they were waiting to hear from you. It kind of feels to me like this person is of the mindset that if you want to talk to them, you'll come to them. If you don't come to them, that means you don't want to talk to them. So they're leaving it and just walking away from this because In their mind, you just don't want to talk to them. Or you would, you know. That's a slippery slope. But for those of you dealing with somebody that has some sort of addiction issue, if you're wondering, no, they have not gotten clean. I don't know who needs to hear that. I know it's not all of you, but all right. Well, it's not. Well, actually, no, we do have the Knight of Cups here. So maybe this person does have some feelings for you. Nine of Swords again. They're too scared. Scared of what? I don't know. Like I said, it's not telling me. Usually when it doesn't tell me something like that, it's because it's so broad and vast that I can't generalize it with one blanket statement. It's probably so different depending on you, your situation, and the person you're dealing with. Like maybe for some of you, yeah, they're afraid it'll just turn into a big fight again. Maybe for others of you, they just don't want to embarrass themselves. Maybe for others of you, they don't want to take the chance of giving you the satisfaction of knowing that they have feelings if you don't, right? I don't know. I guess I'll just kind of leave that up to you. Honestly, though, at the end of the day, that's kind of frivolous information that really doesn't matter that much. It's really not that important. We're either going to come together and talk about this like adults or we're not, you know? So, goddamn, dog. Look, I got all three. Ace, Knight, and Page of Swords all reversed. They definitely keep an eye on you, but they're too scared and too chicken shit to come forward. All right, let's grab some advice. What's the advice for Aries? Ooh, the Fool card. Hang on, what's that all about? Hold up. Knight of Pentacles reversed. Empress. Ooh, you know what? Well, I mean, this is telling me that something new is due to come in. So, depending on what you do with this energetically, that will play a major role in your love life moving forward. If you stay too tightly energetically tied to somebody like this, that could potentially block the next person from coming in altogether. And I think that could be the case because I think what's due to come in next is long-term on a different vibrational frequency. You know? So I think it would depend on how long ago this ended for some of you. If this is something that ended recently, if I was you, I would dedicate all of 2026 to nothing but healing. That's the number one priority. If this happened a while back, though, like maybe at the beginning of the year, or hell, sometime last year, shoot this person a fucking closure message. And then back off and move forward, because something new's coming in. As soon as you release the right amount of energy, something new is coming in. Now, that's what we're going to look at here next. And I don't want to give too much away, but the singles might be going through a little obstacle course. Let's put it like that. I think that'd be a good way to put that. The singles might be going through a little bit of an obstacle course before the next person comes in. Let's just, yeah. See? Let's see, man. How's it looking for single Aries? How's it looking? Whoops. How's the energy looking for single Aries, universe? What's coming in? Anything new coming in? Anything old coming in? Anything coming in at all? Ooh, see, Empress reversed. I don't know. Well, hang on. Let me get the rest of the spread. Hold up. Queen of Wands reversed. Yep. All right. So, yep, there it is. Told you. Boom. Whoops. Boom. Now, I'm not going to say that you're going to be tested. I don't have the card for that here. But I do think that you're going to go through a little bit of an obstacle course. Let's just put it like that. I don't have either of the cards that indicate spiritual tests or spiritual lessons. But I do have potential challenges, obstacles, and an obstacle course. So it's very, very likely that somebody could try to slide their way up in there, you know, and blow some smoke up that ass. See what they can get away with. See if they can bullshit you, you know. And some of you, those of you who have become very, very rock solid here lately, you'll smell through the bullshit from a mile away. And those are the ones who next year this time are more than likely going to be with your fucking person. Others of you, well, if you're feeling really lonely, broken, and empty, and this smoke-blowing piece of shit makes you feel real good about yourself, it's very likely that you could end up getting sucked back in and repeat a past cycle, potentially. I don't think that's the majority of you, though. I don't think so. Because I got a lot of this type of shit right here, which indicates reluctance. And reluctance is good. That's good when the energy is off. You know, you definitely want to pay attention to that feeling. So, okay. All right, well, let's grab some advice. What's the advice for the single Aries? Advice. What is the best advice? Ooh, 6 of coins reverse. Okay, so there's a time and a place for everything, right? There's a time and a place to be selfless. There's a time and a place to be selfish. There's a time and a place to dig your heels in and bust your ass off and really work and fight to try to make something happen. There's a time and a place to let go. Let go of the wheel, go with the flow. You don't ever want to do one or the other and live your whole life by it. Wisdom comes in learning how to distinguish the difference when the time is appropriate to make the move for the former or the latter. When it comes to anything, those are just a couple of examples. So a lot of you are probably going to be faced with an emotional manipulator. Somebody who is really, really, really good at playing with your feelings. And most emotional manipulators typically play on what? 2 feelings more than anything else. Guilt and sympathy, right? Guilt and sympathy. And those are the 2 Again, there are some very, very advanced emotional manipulators out there that still play through guilt and sympathy, but they know how to do it through a much more nuanced, complex, and convoluted apparatus of fucking energy that, you know, we don't need to go down that path right now. But I think a lot of you are going to be faced with an emotional manipulator. So what I'm saying is that distinguish the difference when it's appropriate to be selfish. Because that's one of the first fucking things a manipulator is going to do is guilt trip you. And like me, I remember when I was fucking homeless, dude. Like, I would never guilt trip anyone into doing anything for me. Ever. Ever. I remember the other people in the homeless community I lived with would see me come out of the public bathroom at a restaurant after I just shaved, you know, and went to the giveaway and got nice, clean clothes. Be like, what are you doing, dude? You ain't gonna make no money out here like that. You look too nice. You got to make these people feel sorry for you. I said, fuck that, dude. I'm not trying to be here, you know? A person who is not trying to manipulate you is not going to guilt trip you. Keep that in mind. Boundaries are one of the ways that and they don't have to be big, crazy, outlandish boundaries, but just little boundaries. If you set little, decent, common sense boundaries, that can tell you a lot about a person. You know, I read for a client, a few days ago, who said that they've been dating somebody for 2 months. And this person is already pressuring them into quitting their job and marrying them. You've only been together 2 months and they're pressuring you to make a big life-changing situation like that? Fuck that shit, dude. Fuck that. You know? So don't be afraid to put your foot down, especially if it's something you're not in the position to do. You know? It doesn't even really matter. You don't owe anybody an explanation at all. If somebody tries poking at your feelings and playing with your guilt, and you put your foot down, and they double down on that and make you feel even worse, you might want to back away from that. You might want to back away from that. A person who's not trying to manipulate you is not going to make you feel guilty. You know, at least not on purpose. You know, people who aren't manipulative by nature don't like sympathy. They'll do everything they can to try to make you think they got it all together. They don't want your sympathy. They don't want you to feel bad. You know, they could be fucking crumbling on the inside and not let you know. You know, I don't want you to feel sorry for me. I don't want you to feel like you have to do anything for me. No, I don't want that. But then when you meet somebody that's constantly poking at your sympathy and your guilt, well, be careful with that. I don't know who needed to hear that, but I feel like there's quite a few of you who are about to be put through that test. That's among many tests. That's just one example, and that's the example that came through here. So at the end of the day, though, if you haven't learned what you needed to learn, doesn't matter what I tell you, you're not going to pass a test. On the other hand, if you have learned what you needed to learn, I don't need to tell you shit. You'll pass a test with flying colors. All right, y'all. I feel like those were the messages that my Aries family needed to hear. So I'm going to go ahead and end this video here. Thanks again for tuning in and playing along. Don't forget, information for personal readings is in the description. And don't forget, we're running our Black Friday sale all November long. You can read up on all the sales that we're running on all the different readings on my website, tarotwithrich.com. Link is in the description. All right? I'm out of here now, y'all. I will see you sometime between now and the rest of all eternity. Stay blessed.